Are exercises good for fibromyalgia? Many of my patients ask me this question because they feel pain after they exercise. The answer is yes. Exercises are one of the best treatments for fibromyalgia. This is a 4-part video series. Today is the first part. I'll explain to you why exercise are a fundamental part of the treatment of fibromyalgia and how to plan an exercise routine with minimal chances to have a pain flare. The next video, I'll demonstrate resistance exercises for fibromyalgia. The third, I will demonstrate low-intensity aerobics or cardio exercises. And the fourth and last video, I'll demonstrate gentle stretching exercises for fibromyalgia. So let's talk about exercises for fibromyalgia today. What is fibromyalgia? Fibromyalgia is a dysfunction of the pain system. Our body has an alarm system to alert us of danger. If the pain system is functioning normally, then it will alert us when there is something broken, injured, or a disease. In fibromyalgia, the alarm system is malfunctioning and keeps alerting the person when there is no actual danger. The pain is real, it is constant, and it is spread to many parts of the body. So instead of fixing the body parts that seems to hurt, we need to retrain the pain system. And one of the ways to retrain is by using movement. Watch my video, What is Fibromyalgia? Fibromyalgia is not just a condition of widespread chronic pain, it's a condition that comes with other symptoms. It comes with depression, sleep disturbance, fatigue, problems with concentration, sensitivity to light, noise, and smells. Watch my other video of central sensitization. A person without fibromyalgia feels good and energized after they do exercises, while a person with fibromyalgia feels more pain and tired after they exercise. Then, guess what the person with fibromyalgia tends to do? They reduce the amount of physical activity to avoid those flares after exercises. Then they start a very dangerous path. They move less, the fibromyalgia gets worse. Then they move even less and the fibromyalgia gets even worse. The person needs to understand that a little bit of pain after they exercise is part of the program. They need to feel worse before they feel better. It is crucial to stick and adhere to this exercise routine. The best way to fix the pain system and revert it to a normal state is by retraining it. There is no magic pill that will do that. Brain retraining is best done when we combine 3 ingredients: knowledge plus movement plus mind-body therapies. I will not talk about mind-body therapies in this video. I have other videos about that. The main purpose of mind-body therapy is to remove the fear of doing exercises. Most patients with fibromyalgia develop an intense fear of movement, and that is understandable, right? They have a memory of past experiences when they try to do some activities like cleaning their garage, going to a shopping mall, or walking their dog, and they were in bed for days afterwards. Yes, those memories are powerful and the brain will tell you to avoid those activities. With mind-body therapies, these memories can be replaced by different memories. The brain can reframe the exercise. And instead of interpreting movement as a danger, it will reinterpret movement as a healer. Remember, brain retraining requires 3 ingredients: knowledge about neuroscience of pain, movement for the body, and reframing for the mind. Today, I'll talk about the middle ingredient. But before I continue, let me remind you that this video is not intended to replace medical advice. If you have fibromyalgia, please ask your doctor if these exercises are appropriate for you. This video is for educational purposes only. If there is an emergency, please go to the nearest emergency department or call an ambulance. What type of exercises can people with fibromyalgia do? Where do they start? How do they know how much pain is too much? What if they have a flare that lasts too long? Let's talk about the types of exercises. Use the letters SAS to remember them. You need strengthening, aerobics, and stretching. Strengthening or resistance exercise are very important. 20 years ago, we were not recommending our patients with fibromyalgia to do resistance exercises or weight training. But now, there is strong evidence that this kind of exercise is really beneficial for people with fibromyalgia. How often should you do it? Start with 1 day a week and increase to 3 days a week. Always give 48 hours between strengthening sessions. How about the intensity? We have larger muscles and smaller muscles in our body. Each muscle group needs a different resistance. Resistance is what makes the muscle fiber gain more power and increase in size. We call this hypertrophy of the muscle. We start with very little resistance and gradually increase it. If you start with a lot of resistance, you may flare. And if you only do low resistance and don't progress to a large resistance, then there are no beneficial effects to the muscle power or strength. What can we use for resistance? For people with fibromyalgia and other chronic pain conditions like arthritis, back pain, myofascial pain, the best type of resistance is water. When you move a body part in the air offers very little resistance. But if you move a body part under the water, the fluid will resist your movements. That's why we can move very quickly in the air, which offers low resistance, and very slow in the water because the water offers a lot of resistance. But if you don't have access to a tank of water or pool, then you need to find other ways to do resistance exercises. Let me give you some examples. Resistance bands. These are open elastic bands and they vary from light, medium to heavy. These are good for hands, elbows, and shoulders. These are closed elastic bands that also vary from light, medium to heavy. They are good for feet, knees, and hips. Free weights that you grab with your hands and you can get from light to heavy weights. They are good for hands, elbows, and shoulders. Then there are those that you can attach to your wrists, ankles, or waist. You don't need to use your grip to carry them. If you have access to machines like this that are available at gyms, you can start with the lowest possible weights and increase gradually. So how do you know where to start and how heavy you should go? First, you need to know your limits. You could estimate it by using the rating of perceived exertion or RPE. This is a scale from 1 to 10. When you're doing the exercise, you give a number. 1 is very light activity with almost no effort, like watching TV. 2 to 3 means light activity. You can easily breathe and have a conversation while you're doing this activity. 4 to 6 means moderate activity. You can do this activity for hours, but breathing is heavy and you can only hold a short conversation to be able to catch your breath. 7 to 8 means vigorous activity. It's almost on the verge of becoming uncomfortable. You're short of breath and can only speak a sentence. 9 means it's very hard. It's difficult for you to maintain this exercise intensity. You can barely breathe and speak a single word. And 10 means maximum effort. It is impossible to keep going. You are completely out of breath and unable to talk. So once you know your maximum resistance level, you can start a plan of gradually increasing the resistance levels. You should be training around level 6. Divide your body into major muscle groups: shoulders, arms, back, hips, and legs. Each muscle group can perform various movements. So for each of these major muscle groups and for each movement, there are various possibilities to strengthen them using resistance. I will demonstrate them in the next video. It is good if you keep a record of the amount of resistance that you used last time because you will need to keep increasing them. The goal is always to increase your strength, your muscle power, and possibly gaining more muscle mass and hypertrophy. You can download this handout that I prepared for you to keep track of your strengthening exercises. Now let's talk about aerobics or cardio exercises. Aerobic exercise, any exercise that increases your heart rate and respiratory rate. I have another video that I demonstrate dancing as an aerobic exercises. But there are so many other types of aerobic exercises. Walking, running, biking, swimming, skating, rollerblading, playing drums, going up and down stairs, shoveling snow, and many others. For fibromyalgia, you need to start at a low frequency, low intensity, and low duration. Begin with 1 day a week and gradually progress to 3 days a week. Use the rating of perceived exertion, begin with light intensity, and gradually progress to moderate intensity. Regarding the duration, start with 10 minutes per day and gradually progress to 60 minutes every time you do aerobic exercises. The third videos of this series I will demonstrate some low intensity aerobic exercises. And finally, stretching or flexibility exercises. This is the other S in SAS. Start with 2 days a week, stretching only within your limits of pain to the point of tightness or slight discomfort. In the beginning, hold each stretch for 10 seconds and then progress gradually for 30 seconds. The last video of this series will be a demonstration of gentle stretches for people with fibromyalgia. What if you have a pain flare? It is important to differentiate between a painful flare and delay onset muscle soreness, or DOMS. Everyone, people with or without fibromyalgia, will have muscle pain for 48 hours after they use some muscles that they have not been using regularly. If you didn't practice a sport for many months, when you return to that sport, your muscles will be aching for 2 or 3 days. That is DOMS. And it's only pain, and it's only lasting 48 to 72 hours. Fibromyalgia flare is different. It may last longer than 3 days, there is pain in muscles that were not exercised, and it has other symptoms like fatigue, poor concentration, irritability, dizziness, nausea. The person feels fatigued during the day and can't sleep well at night because of sleep problems or insomnia. In case of flare, do not stop all physical activity. Keep doing the minimum that you can. Maybe reduce the weights or repetitions or just go for a walk, but try to avoid bed rest during a flare. If you're thinking of starting an exercise routine, pay attention to these important considerations. For aquatic exercises, choose a pool with warm water, close to 91 to 97 Fahrenheit or 33 to 36 Celsius. Set realistic goals. Do not expect immediate results. It may take weeks for you to notice any benefit, and these benefits may not be reduced pain, but they may be more energy during the day, less fatigue, better sleep, improved mood, and more socialization. It is important to practice daily, but if you need to take a break, you can choose 1 day a week to rest. You will not see any meaningful benefits if you practice only once or twice a week. It is better to practice less every day and many days a week than to combine all your exercise into 1 or 2 days a week and do nothing for the other days. At the end of each session, always include some relaxation, breathing, and cooling down activities. You can adjust your routine as you wish. You may go harder when you can or slower when you need to back off. And remember that normal activity at home or at work also counts as exercise. Pay attention to the type of movement you do at home or work. Sometimes you do low intensity aerobics, but no strengthening or stretching at all. So you need to add the other types of exercises to your routine. Some individuals will need a coach to help them select the proper exercises and monitor their progression. You may get a physiotherapist, kinesiologist, chiropractor, or personal trainer to help you. But make sure that they are knowledgeable about fibromyalgia. If you like this video, don't forget to give a thumbs up here, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notifications button so you can be alerted when I post new videos here. Thank you for watching. Bye!